What's going on, everyone? This is going to be a redub of all of these works I've been doing in the recent past on blood and disorders and disease, and I'm going to break it down in a different way. And just remember, I'm just some, I don't know, just some guy on the internet just talking some nonsense. I don't, who cares what I know? But for the people that have been following along and they understand the gem after gem, jewel after jewel that I drop in every one of my videos, if you're new to this, I suggest highly to go look through. Right now, there's only about 60 videos out. I have the other 400 or so under lock and key because it was just way too much information for people. So here I'm going to try to break it down again to the most simple thing, the most basic concept. I did this in another video, but it's two things that I want to point out with blood and with disease and disorders and blood types and all of this. First is there is one single cell of blood. In the beginning of anything, there was one cell of blood, period. That's all there is. The single atom, the single blood cell. There was no blood types. There was nothing beyond that. The blood typing, and I'll tell you where this comes from in a second. The blood typing, when you get into antigens and antibodies and diseases, meaning the blood's morphing, I can tell you why it happens, how it comes about. But these little markers that are inside and outside of the blood are almost certainly, in my mind, without much of a question, 100% dietary related. When you start talking about hereditary, what you mean is, okay, you're gonna get most of the habits of your parents. And your parents are going to feed you the things they fed themselves. So of course you're going to end up like they did. And this is how it has to do with the environment you're in and the food that you're eating and what your diet is. Diet is, as I'll always point out, means deity. Deity means what is your God? What are you putting into your temple, your body? So again, I'm gonna start here again, and if you tell me what you eat, I'll tell you what your problem is. It's like I've done so many experiments on myself with the things I put in my body, and I notice when I have inflammation, I notice when I have things occur in my body, and it's completely in unison with the things that I'm consuming in every way. I mean, we could get into like higher levels of this and say, okay, what kind of music are you listening to, and what kind of what kind of air are we breathing, and we can get into a lot of deeper things, but primarily, the most dense thing that we're consuming is food. So that dense thing that we're consuming is the biggest impact on our blood health or disease. The single original blood cell, it was just that. It was a blood cell. And then when we started to get into all of the different types of proteins and types of antibodies and types of this and that, well, why do you think here? You can just look at it. Why do people in that part of the world have, in the Americas, they don't have any population that has B. 0 to 5% of people that live in the Americas have B-type blood. And Australia as well. That's strange, isn't it? Well, apparently it's in a completely different region that has a totally different diet than what happens in Africa and Asia and Europe. And then if you look into the diets of these people, you're gonna, okay, who has the O blood? Let's see. You can look into these populations and where these pockets of people are, and it's completely. You tell me what you're eating, and I'll tell you what's going on with your blood. I've explained this in other videos about the 4 major types of. Again, there's a big difference between the elements we should be ingesting as organic and inorganic, meaning there's a carbon bond to organic things. We're putting inorganic things in our body, and it's getting stuck in our blood. And then when it gets stuck in your blood, or on your blood, on that blood cell as an antibody, antigen, and they start to morph, meaning they get bigger, there's more pressure in it, because we put inorganic materials that can't be broke down too easily, and it goes into your blood cells, and no wonder it goes from what would be called a standard UFO-shaped blood cell to something that is a spherocyte, which becomes a ball, a sphere, and it has pressure, and what is surrounding the blood is not letting anything in or out because of the pressure difference. And those 4 elements are magnesium, potassium. Those are the nighttime elements you'd call them. That's what they'd be considered. And you have daytime elements. And the two major ones are sodium and calcium. And a lot of people through the years, oh, you don't have enough calcium in your diet. And they take calcium supplements that are inorganic. Where do you think they're getting? It's not making any old people's bones healthier, because it's not getting into their bones, because A, it's inorganic, and B, it's getting stuck in their blood. And then no wonder they have swelling. Yeah, these fat ankles and these fat knees, and it's like they're all swole up, but they have brittle bones because their blood is turned into a bunch of spheres full of inorganic elements. It's just this simple. I mean, hey, what do I know? I didn't go to college for this stuff. I'm just observing reality. I'm just observing things and saying it really seems this way. It appears as such. Everything that you put into this, the 18 years I've been really researching all of this, like from so many different angles, and this is what it looks like. It seems to be. Go back to the beginning. In the beginning, there was one blood cell. Then tell me what your diet is. Tell me what you're consuming, and I'll tell you why your shit's all fucked up. If I'm being blunt about it. And oh no, it's a blood disorder. It runs in the family. No, it doesn't. You're having the same habits as your parents. Okay, what kind of exercise do you have? Oh no, we don't really exercise. Well, how do you like your chicken parm? You like it deep fried? Oh, okay, so you're telling me that fried oil isn't actually getting stuck in your system and causing you a lot of chaos in your system. It's not getting stuck in your liver because you can't process it, because like these are simple things. These are really, really, really simple things. But then we've divided everything up and have so many specialists saying, oh, no, we're looking at this one little part here. And I'm saying, no, let's look at the whole system, and let's look at the beginning of the system. The beginning, primordial soup of creation, where the essence of whatever the original God creator being was, didn't have any blood problems. And there are people, and this gets into all of the other blood type work. I suggest getting all that. I'm not going to do it here again, but I have videos on that within the past couple weeks. You can just dip through those, and no matter what video you get into, you're going to get gems. You're going to get high levels of wisdom and knowledge. That's guaranteed. If you don't like it, move on. Find yourself some other teacher. But as we're looking at these blood cells, what's going to happen is it's either going to be stagnant or it's going to be moving. The rivers of life are either moving and stagnant. Once something becomes stagnant, it starts to die. These blood cells start to die and become the diseased thing, the bacteria that multiplies and becomes the swollen joints and whatever. Those swollen joints come from the individual blood cells. They're getting blown up like balloons, putting pressure on the walls and not allowing any transference of whatever materials that should be in the body to take place. And so we have inorganic elements which can't be broken down because there's no carbon bond. So people go, no, I need more salt. Well, no, you don't need more salt, because salt is inorganic. You need a plant that took that salt, and through the magical, wonderful mystery of how, and I did earlier work on this and I could tell you all about it, but through this magical mystery of how that salt either turned into or actually was reflecting water and light. And there's a lot going on here, but how it turned in that plant, and now that plant has that sodium. That sodium now has a carbon bond to it, means it's usable by the body. How do you think animals survive? I mean, ask yourself the simple question. These vegetarian animals are sitting out there in the sunshine, drinking clean water and eating grass. And they're giant. How does that happen? How did that piece of grass have all the information it needed? How did that cow make milk? Literal fat. It ate nothing in the world that was fat. Nothing. It ate grass. There's no fat in grass. So how did it process through its body something that didn't have fat into it and turn it into fat? Oh, and then on top of that, the bull. How did the bull get those giant horns and is 2,000 pounds and will crush just about anything? How did that happen? So once you start from that point and go, okay, everything you think you know about anything is completely faulty, because people have specialized in tiny little practices that they don't even know how the entire system works. They don't even know the beginning of the system. They don't even know where they are. They're looking through a microscope, they're looking through a telescope, and they have no idea who they are, where they're standing, and what their body of information, their temple is, and what their own blood is. And looking back into the DNA, the heritage, the history, no matter what you think, it all went back to, call it a pair of people. And you know what? They had one type of blood. And the only thing that happened for the blood types to change is dietary habits to change, the consumption habit. People started eating meat. Now you have whatever's in that animal's diet. If you find an animal that was eating other animals or destroying things or putting something in its body, now you put that blood in your body, what do you think happens? Now you start going and eating all these products off the shelves that have all of these chemicals in it. What do you think your body's going to do? It's going to build up all sorts of proteins, and it's going to build up all sorts of bacteria. It's going to build up all of these things in the body to try to fight the incoming onslaught of chemical weapon warfare. Literally weapons of mass destruction and chemical warfare going on inside of your body because you chose to put something into your mouth through the grocery store that's selling you things that have poison in it. So the reason you survive? The reason you survive because your body's smarter than you are. Okay, let's build up all these things. Now there's this giant war going on in your body, and you go, well, I can't figure out how this goes. I don't know how this works. I don't know this. Eating all this beef. I mean, beef's healthy, right? Chicken's healthy. Stupid vegetarians. What are they doing? Well, you think you can survive on that? And then you got people out here like not even exercising, not moving, not doing anything, wondering why their blood is stagnant. Pools of blood, and there's no movement in their body, in their life, and in their mind. And they go, oh, no, it just runs in the family. No, nobody's running in your family. That's the joke. That's why everybody's like, piles of blobs, because there's no running in the family. Nothing is running. The system's not running. You're not moving. So start moving the rivers, the blood. Get your heart and lungs moving, and especially because I'll get into the spirit of this and what your lungs are. Your lungs are what's moving everything. That's why you could literally, if you were really out of shape, if you really wanted to get in shape, if you wanted the real deal, you just start breathing heavy. You just start breathing. And that breathing would make your blood move. It would make you get warm. It'd flush your body, literally flush things out of your body. If you're so out of shape that you can't move, or if you have an injury, breathe heavy. That's going to force your body to push that blood through you. It'll speed up healing mechanisms. It'll speed everything up. But people are just sitting here like, mouth breathing, and I'm wondering why their brain doesn't work. Well, if you're breathing through your mouth, how do you think oxygen's getting to your brain? Oh, wait, you realize your nose goes directly to your brain? There's no filter? If you go, that's oxygen directly to your brain with no filter. Changes everything. You can see better. You can hear better. Your brain works better. Okay, so now what have we just done? By breathing, we've brought oxygen into the body. What is oxygen? It's an oxidizer. Everybody's out here needs all these heavy metals, need all these salts. No, you need to breathe. You need to oxidize your system. We need to break down and destroy all of the what do you call it? The shaky foundations of what is the heavy metals and dense materials we've been putting in our body. The iron. This is one of the biggest things. I've been going on and on about this video after video. I think the biggest thing that ever happened was the Iron Age and people starting to use iron pans and consuming heavy metals that they need to get out of their body because iron rusts. That's why your blood is red. Iron isn't red. Iron ore, as it starts to rust, becomes red. And that's toxic. It's not good for you. Doesn't make your body move. It has it has nothing that your body needs. So you need to oxidate. So if people have here's another blood disorder somebody was just telling me about. I forget the name of it, but it basically means there's not enough oxygen coming to the blood through the hemoglobin. Put hydrogen peroxide in your system. Put it on your skin. Breathe more. Take deep breaths. There's oxygen right there going into your lungs. Yeah, it would probably be difficult at first. Anything is difficult. Building muscles difficult. Building clean blood is difficult because what's going to happen is as you breathe more, that oxygen is actually going to be breaking apart and destroying all of the heavy metals and irons and salts and getting that out of your body, and that processing is going to be difficult. That's why there's why a lot of people are always on to cleansing. Do cleansing. You need to cleanse your colon first, then cleanse your kidneys, then cleanse your liver, gallbladders, right? And then all of these things are occurring to get rid of the things that are in the way. But as I'll say, once again, And hopefully this all makes sense. Your blood in the beginning was at one. Everybody had the same thing. It was all the same thing, and the only thing that changed was our diet, our deity, our God, our temple, ourselves. The things that we started to consume altered everything in our makeup of our blood. This is why there are so many different markers of so many different proteins and so many different things in people's blood. You say there's only 4 blood types. What you don't realize is there's not. There's 8. Oh wait, there's 9. Okay, because there's the AB, the A, the B, the O. Okay, and then you have the positive and the negatives, the RH. Oh, where did that come from? Did somebody monkeying around putting blood from monkeys in our genes? Maybe trying to braid DNA. I don't know. And then all of a sudden you have this other thing called RH null. It means, whoa, it's golden blood. Not too many people have that because it doesn't have any of the so you have antibodies and antigens. So it doesn't have any antigens in it, right? So, well, that's confused. There's 9 types. Oh, but they didn't tell you, or they told you, but you didn't go to that class. You didn't study that. But if you look a little deeper, there's actually, I think they say 63 kinds of blood, because there's factors of proteins beyond that, like C, D, and all of these different scientists, and then they use their names, and here's the name of the scientist that claimed this protein that can't, and now all of a sudden there's 64 kinds of blood. Well, that's weird. I mean, if we get into if you want to play the games that I like to play, is 8-bit Nintendo, and you got your 64, the 64 I Ching hexagrams. We can play all that fun stuff. But okay, so how many types of blood are there? How could there be? Okay, then if someone with an A blood that's Chinese goes and has intercourse with somebody that has O blood that's Eastern European, and then you got now we're just breeding something, but somehow they can bind and a baby pops out because the blood itself, underneath all of the proteins and underneath the carbohydrates and underneath beyond the problems with whatever the hemoglobin is, and beyond the problems with the antibodies and the problems with the antigens, the single structure of the atomic cell that just holds whatever, just holds the soup of the goo that becomes multiplied as the flower of life, which turns into, oh wait, now we're going to build bones, now we're building a heart inside of the mother's womb, comes out as a baby. And sometimes it has a completely different blood type. It's proof that what's going on here, because the baby didn't because the information that was going to the child was the original blood thing, right? Whatever the blood was, it wasn't taking the mother's blood. What was it taking? What was the baby sitting in? It was sitting in the mother's urine. It was sitting in plasma ultrafiltrate. The kidneys turned all of the blood into the purest blood plasma, ultrafiltrate. You can look it up. This is what's in hospitals. This is what your body makes. This is where you came from, a plasmic source of golden light, which is urine. You want to fix yourself? Drink your piss. Drink your urine. But that will never be popularized because there's no money in that. If I sit here and drink my piss, nobody who is a doctor. Do I have to go to a doctor? No. For what? Because I'm drinking my own pure plasma, and all of the stuff that I didn't need is actually going out my back door as poop, poopy, or it's coming out of my skin because my skin is a barrier, the same way that blood cell has a barrier. And if I don't put any toxic heavy metals under my armpits like deodorant to clog up those pores, in the same way each one of those blood cells are being clogged up. If I don't clog myself up and I open up my skin and I start sweating, I'm sweating out all the things that I don't need. Amazing. Exactly what that blood cell does. And it's exactly what the baby was living in, was a plasma field. Now you look into the electrical universe theory, and everybody's talking about in the future, they're always talking about plasma guns, plasma rays. Ultrafiltrate plasma is your urine. It's like liquid electric. It's gold. So all this, tell me your diet, I'll tell you your problem, I'll tell you the solution. And the solution is always the same. Clean, distilled water, Urine. I mean, if you want to get right to it, urine. But people are like, oh, no, I don't want that. Okay, fine. You don't want that. Then you don't really want to listen. You really don't want to fix yourself. You really don't care because you would just do it. But most people, okay, guys, all right, fine. Distilled water. Well, they tell you the distilled water is going to leach all the things out of your body because man, you know how disgusting and filthy your body and blood is? It would be helpful if you started leaching some things out of your body. Okay, well, all right. I got to put that sea salt in there. Okay, go to the ocean and start drinking seawater. See how quickly you die. Okay. Well, all right. But I need the protein. Okay, come on. Stop with the protein. We're not talking about protein. Okay. Just the fruit of the tree. Oh, there's too much sugar in there. Oh, geez. Oh, guys, come on. There's too much sugar in the fruit? You're telling me that the fruit that all this really? Okay, fine. Eat the vegetation. Oh, it's the green stuff. It doesn't taste good. It doesn't taste good. Well, because I told you to eat the fruit, but you said there's too much sugar. Now you want to eat the green stuff? See, this is the process that you have to go through people's minds and just go backtrack the whole thing. If you're eating from another creature, you're eating their blood plasma, and you're living off of the electrical charge in their system, and you're also getting all of the information and their karma, meaning all of their information in their body goes into you. If that's what you want, go for it. But if you want to make it simple, consume of yourself. Plasma ultrafiltrate, golden nectar of life. Now, I'm sitting here, I practice it sometimes. Sometimes I go hard. Sometimes I'm really doing it. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm just enjoying fruits and vegetables. Sometimes I'm just enjoying fruit. I mean, hey, go get on to sauerkraut. There's a living system. I talked about this, probiotics. Get probiotics in your system. Those will help. Living sauerkraut and kimchi. Kimchi is one of the most delicious, wonderful things. Why do you think they use it in those cultures? Why? Because if they choose to eat a pig because that's part of their diet, they'll eat the kimchi. Why? Because that living system of the kimchi, it's spicy, it's hot, it's getting the blood moving, and it's living, so it's going to kill all of the bacteria that might have been on that pig. It's removing it from their system. So, I mean, their system is so basic and clear, but then everybody's like, well, no, this is just too many things. There's too many specialists. We got my toneologist told me that I need to get more this, but then I went to my barber. He said, but then I was on my bowling team. The guy, he had a little bit of he had knee cancer, and then the other, but he told me the radiation, like that was, and like, oh, this is just. I know I'm trying to have fun with this here and just be, give you a little bit of the story about it, but it's really, really simple. It's like, I like making these videos, but sometimes I'm like, hey, just listen to the rest of my videos. This is why I took 400 down, because I'm like, nobody has time for this. I'm condensing it to this. This is all you need to know. This is the only video you need to watch. Then go from there. What else? Okay. Now let's add. We've got the slate clean. Everything's fine in your blood. Now we can start to highlight things. Now we can start to add. Okay, yeah. Here. Let me tell you about how to upgrade this chakra system. Upgrade this organ. Let's tell you about what the orange foods do and the green ones and the blue ones. Okay, let's talk a little bit about salt if you want to put that in your system and actually what it's going to do. Let's talk about that now. But most people, no, they have a dirty vessel, and they're trying to throw all of these things in there to fix it. And it's quite the opposite. You need to remove everything, then you can start putting things in. You have to clean your house before you put things in it. You have to take all of the old furniture and trash out before you start putting new furniture in. It's just that simple. And the blood is no different. Clean the blood out. How to clean the blood out? Pure water and oxygen. Boom, done. Easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Yeah, and put a little lemon in your diet too. That'll keep you a charge going. Okay, guys. Have a beautiful day. Do cool things. Inspire the world. And if you can't do that, at least take care of yourself. Clean up your blood. It's not that hard. Talk soon.